Hello everyone. Welcome to ACCA Performance Management webinar, and I am your instructor Rizwan Maniya. Before I start the session, I just want to confirm few things. Can people see the screen very clearly, and is the voice clear to everyone? It would be really good if you confirm, few of the students just confirm that they can hear my voice very clearly and they can see the screen as well. So yes, please, before I proceed, I need quick confirmation. Okay, so that's good. Now, first of all, let me just quickly tell you the entire plan that I will be following for the today's session. First, I will tell you brief about myself, my experiences. Then we'll move towards the paper introduction, what examiner expect from students who will be appearing for performance management exam in December 2019. Then we'll discuss the paper structure. Yes, the most important for you people is passing ratio. General reasons for failure. Now this is extremely important, and the teaching methodology. After that, I will share the day one plan that we will be following. So first of all, my name is Rizwan Maniya, and I am teaching ACCA papers, performance management, financial management, advanced performance management from last 13 years. I have been part of the ACCA webinar team, and I have conducted 2 performance management webinars previously in September 2017 and June 2017. Also, I've conducted 6 advanced performance management webinars uh, using the same platform in the past. Currently, I'm teaching at KNS School of Business Studies, which is an approved learning provider. I'm fortunate that many of my students globally, that is internationally, because I teach internationally as well. So many of my students internationally and nationwide have become nationwide position holders in performance management, financial management, and advanced performance management. So this was a brief introduction about myself. Now, coming towards the paper, obviously we all know that performance management is an advanced paper of management accounting, and this is clearly a transition from management accounting, previously known as F2. So 3 things which are really important is the expectation. So your expectation in performance management will be different. That is, your examiner now will not be just focusing on the manipulation of financial or non-financial numbers, but the focus now will be towards what the numbers actually mean. So it's not just about calculation in performance management. Yes, calculations are important. You should know the calculations, but you should know at the same time what these calculations actually mean for an organization. So what the numbers mean is important. Second, the question types. Obviously, when it comes to F5 performance management exams and onwards, it's now CBE, pattern of examination, and the question types have changed compared to management accounting. So now you have section A, section B, section C, which is constructive response area. So yes, the examination methodology has also changed, and the types of questions that will now be tested in performance management are very much different to management accounting, and I'll discuss the paper structure later. Exam timings, you all know that if you pass uh, the paper, of management accounting. So you can just move on to performance management. And if you fail, for example, so you can give management accounting paper whenever you want to, because it's a CBE based as well, but the dates are easily available, and throughout the year you can give the exam whenever you think you are prepared. But when it comes to performance management, so there are just 4 windows available, which means you have to be dead right, students, and you have to ensure that December 2019, if it is your attempt, should be your attempt, and you have to pass in this attempt, because the next chance that will come will be in March 2020. So these are the basic differences between management accounting paper and performance management that I really wanted to highlight at start. New topics have been introduced, and these new topics are important for December 2019. And yes, I will be covering these topics in our day 5 plan. So make sure all the days are extremely important. I really want you people to be with me till the 5 days journey, and I will try my level best to help you people maximum to pass in December 2019 attempt. But for that, you have to promise, and I need answers from you people right now on the screen, that you will be with me in this entire 5 day session. So what do you say? Do you promise? Yes, guys. I really believe in interactive sessions. So yes, everybody needs to say yes, because if you will be with me, very very few answers I'm getting right now. It's a long list of students that I can see. Yeah, that's great, that's great, that's great. So you have to be with me till the end. Reason, in these 5 days I will prepare you for the entire paper, and this is my promise with you people. Literally speaking, the technique that I will be using in this webinar will will not just be restricted to these 3 hours classes, but I will be giving you all the support, and that support will not just prepare you for these performance management 3 hour session, but will also help you later on. So it's a complete package. It's not just 3 hours of these webinars, but I will be giving you entire guidance what you have to do after the session ends, what further things you need to cover after the session ends. So this is all we have to follow, and I will try my best to help you people to be successful in December 2019 attempt. But yes, yes, you have to support me till the end. Be with me. There might be topics in which you will be really good. So you might think, okay, just leave it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Be with me till the end, because my focus in this webinar will be completely different one, and I will be focusing more towards practice this time, not over the knowledge development, because at this time, obviously people know what the theory is all about, the basic content I'm talking about. My focus is to make you pass, because examination technique is what matters a lot. Okay, so I'll be covering this new areas as well in day 5 session. You can see role of information systems in organization, cost and benefits of information system, use of internet, intranet, wireless technology and networks, big data. Yeah, this is a big addition. Big data, it is a big addition in PM. Explain the use of big data for enhancing decision making. Moving forward, what our examiner expect us from us is, examiner expect you people to be good in planning, controlling, decision making, and performance evaluation. So friends, these are the 4 skills that you need to ensure you should have if you really want to make an impact in December 2019 attempt. So you need to go in terms of planning, which means what? Budgeting, variant standard costing. When it comes to controlling, again I would say standard costing. Again I would say budgeting. And then I would say performance evaluation. sorry, I would say financial, non-financial indicators. So these are for controlling purpose. Then decision making, where there are techniques like linear programming, CVP analysis, relevant costing, and techniques like relevant costing. So these are the one that develops the skill that is actually required. Then performance evaluation. We'll judge the performance of the company, the departments, and that is the pure area of performance measurement that we will be covering. So these are the four things that your examiner expect you to be expert in. Moving forward, let's discuss the paper structure, and this time differently, that is section wise. So our exam is structured into three sections, and I'm sure everybody now is very much aware of that. 15 OT questions, 2 marks each, that is 30% of your paper. Section B is 3 case style questions, 10 marks each, that again comprises of 30% of your paper, which means that section A and B together comprises of 60% of your paper. And yes, this 60% is OTs, objective test questions. So this is one of the important areas what I personally believe is student needs to have a good grip over. And in this webinar, I will be focusing on OTs as well, along with constructive response questions, because this is one of the neglected areas what I personally believe that students are not very much aware of, or do not take this area very seriously. Then comes the two constructive response questions, and each weightage is 20 marks. So multiplied by 2 means 40 marks is what is available for this part C of your exam. And this requires the skills of spreadsheet and word processing sheets, and that I will be using a lot in this session. So our syllabus is divided into 4 sections. As you can see, advanced costing technique will be tested in section A, section B, but not in section C. So topics like activity-based costing, target costing, life cycle costing, throughput accounting, environmental management accounting will not be tested in section C. Then we have decision making, budgeting and control, and this also includes variances as well. It's not just budgets, it does include variances. And performance management measurement, one of the most important examination area. These all three will be tested for section A, B, and C. Now, the two 20-mark question will come from decision making, as I did mention here, budgeting and control or performance measurement. These questions may also include requirements related to information system area of the syllabus, which means the new area that has been introduced, as I just showed you in the previous slide. This is the area. So this area might also come in your 20-mark question, and definitely this will be for theory. So we need to be well aware that how to write theory relating to these new topics. So this new area may also become part of this 20-mark constructive response questions. So I hope this is also clear. Now, yes, last 5 attempts. September 2019 being the recent one is 41%. So you can see it's good if I compare that with June 2019. But if I compare the same with September 2018, so you can see that comparatively the passing ratio from September 2019-18 have gone down to 41%, which means that slight drop, but still the passing ratio remains around 40, and maybe I could say 35 to 37 to 43, 44%. So let's hope for the best for December 2019. Okay. Now, why students fail? I'm sure many of you would have thought much about it, and many teachers, instructors would have highlighted this area. But I just want right now to be specific to PM. And I think one of the major reason is not reading the scenario actively. This is extremely important, even for section B and section C, for both. It's really important that you need to read the scenario very actively. Plus, students are not at all good at understanding the question requirements. So, yes, my focus will be a lot towards ensuring that you people do understand what actually question means, what focus is mentioned in the question. Then students are struggling to use spreadsheets to optimum. Yeah, this is one of the problems. Still what people do, that they still use calculators along with the benefit of a spreadsheet. So they just ignore spreadsheet, and what they do is they just input the numbers using calculators. So this is extremely wrong, friends. Why spreadsheet is the most powerful tool that is available to you people now. Make this weakness your strength. If spreadsheet is your weakness, we'll try in these 5 days to make that your strength, and I'll show you how easily I will handle spreadsheet questions and how time saving those questions will be. Candidate do not relate answers with scenario. Linking, poor linking. You can read so many times the same comment from the examiner that students are not at all good in terms of linking things with the scenario. Students are struggling in theory based objective test questions. Yes, section A, questions that are purely theoretical based, students are not being able to grip those questions, so we need to work on that. Candidates are facing time management issues. Why you people don't solve mock? I will provide you mock. I will provide you mock this time. So make sure you are with me till the end, and we will provide you mock. And I will give you a very good competitive mock that you have to solve. And this will give you a good rehearsal before your examination. Candidates are not covering the entire syllabus. People just, again, spot fix here. They just do their own analysis, and they just try to figure out what are important areas. They just focus on those areas and leave the others. No, if you just observe, this CBE pattern is so much comprehensive one that you cannot leave anything. You have to cover. It's impossible now to guess the topics, because you all know that you all will not get the same paper when it comes to constructive response area questions. There will be a difference. So you need to make sure that you cover everything. Candidates are not focusing on gaining easy marks. Now, this is my area where I will focus a lot. How to get easy marks. This is one of the most important things that I need to highlight. Candidates are lacking examination technique. Students, what normally you people do is that you focus a lot on content, theory. You focus a lot on learning the things. You get really happy by solving the same question again and again. No, even if you have done things 100% as far as the content or the knowledge of the paper is concerned, but you do not know the examination technique, you may fail, because examination technique is key. So, my friends, you have to learn how to attempt the paper, how to attempt a question. You have to find where are the easy marks. And I will tell you a lot through lot of questions that, okay, this is how you can get the easy marks. This is how you can get minimum marks at least. So this is the examination technique that I have to focus a lot on. So yes, the session is filled with so many things, and according to that, I have designed my teaching methodology for this session. The session will be 30% knowledge based, because obviously right now we are at 18th November, and obviously people at 18th November would have gone through all the content based area. So focus will be towards practice, practice, and practice. I will give you a quick recap of certain areas, or all the areas that I'm covering, and then I will switch towards the past paper question to just show you the application of that knowledge. All areas of the syllabus will be discussed with practice. Key areas. The session will equally focus on objective test and constructive response questions. The session will equally focus on calculation and theory. Yes, it's not just calculations every time. There will be significant focus on examination techniques and how to gain easy marks. Yeah, this is my area. I will focus a lot over the examination technique and how to get easy marks. I will discuss the marking scheme so that you get to know how your examiner or your marker thinks. I will discuss the marker's mindset. I will tell you how the marker give you marks, and what are the things that marker looks in an answer, and what are the things that marker does not like. So we'll be discussing about the things that you have to do and things that you have to avoid. We'll use examiner reports and technical articles wherever it's needed. I will focus on objective test question bank, and I will solve those questions that will be similar to the exam environment, the way you will get the question in exam. So I will be using a platform of one of the institutions, and through that platform we will be practicing the objective test questions. Then constructive response questions will be solved using spreadsheets and word processing sheets, and I will show you entire way drafting methods. So I think after attending the 5 days performance management webinar, and if you are ready to follow the entire plan that I will communicate with you on a regular basis in these 5 days and later on, so I'm sure this will help you a big deal to pass in your December 2019 attempt. So before we proceed, again, let's say let's do a promise. Are you all ready, guys? Come on, say yes, we all are ready. So I need you to be energetic, enthusiastic, and say yes. I need people to respond, because if you will not respond, you will sleep. And I don't want you to sleep, because I want to make best out of these sessions, and make sure that maximum student benefit from the methodology that I have to use. So few answers I'm getting here. We have a large population students right now, but few are answering me. Please, you need to be very fast in responding me. Thank you. So we will be starting with the first day plan, and that is we'll be covering types of budgets, the budgeting key area. Budget is one of the hot favorite areas where you can expect a 20-mark question, entirely theory based. Yeah, I'm not saying that this is compulsory, but budget often surprises people when they see the question in the examination. It's a 20-mark full-fledged theory. Yes. So I think you need to be well prepared when it comes to budgets, both in terms of calculation and theory. Learning curves. This is the heart of F5. Learning curve is one of the most predictable areas, because learning curve gets connected to so many topics in PM. Whenever it's labor, you can expect learning curve to come. And then we will be discussing about the variances today. So we will start the discussion of variances as well, and that will continue tomorrow. So guys, it's all ready now. to start our session with budgeting and control. So here you go. First of all, the key budgets. Now I have used a summary here because through this summary, I think people will be able to revise things as well. And I hope you can see the points here. So quick confirmation, please. Can people see these points that are available on the screen? Yes, please. Okay, that's good. Now, there are 6 budgets: fixed, flexible, incremental, zero-based, rolling, and activity-based budgets. So let me just give you a quick recap. Fixed budget is fixed budget is a budget that is prepared at a single activity level, which means once we have prepared the fixed budget, we will not change the fixed budget. And this is prepared at a single activity level, which means once made, you will not change the fixed budget. And fixed budget purpose is to set broad objectives for the organization, as this is a budget that sets the direction for the organization. So it does sets broad objectives for the organization. And yes, it is useful for controlling fixed cost, because when your actual results are revealed, so technically speaking, fixed cost is a cost that should not change, because fixed cost is a one that does not depends on the number of units, so it should not change. So if your actual fixed cost is different to what has been planned in the fixed budget, so there is some problem. Yeah, we need to look into the matter. We need to see, okay, now this is some problematic area. So yes, fixed budget is a one that is helpful for controlling fixed costs, that is not dependent upon number of units. The major drawback is it cannot be compared like with like, which means one cannot compare fixed budget with the actual results. So it's not actually possible to compare fixed with actual result, because fixed budget is based on certain units, and for example 100 units, and if actual units are, let's suppose, 120 units, so it's not possible to compare a 100-unit budget with 100 units based actual result, and that will not be a like with like comparison. So because of this issue, we do prepare flexible budgets, and flexible budgets are one that are prepared at number of different activity levels. So friends, flexible budget does covers the major problem of fixed budget, and that is, using flexible budget it is possible to compare like with like, which means we do prepare a flexible budget that is based on actual units. So if you make a flexible budget based on actual units, it gets really easy for us to compare that flexible budget with the actual results. So flexible budget is prepared based on number of different activity levels, and those activity levels does include actual units as well. It is possible to plan for alternative use of spare capacity if output falls short of budget. So this is the advantage. Yes, as I mentioned, that it is prepared at a number of different activity levels. So using flexible budget, we can prepare different types of budgets in order to plan for the spare capacity, in order to plan better in relation to future. Flexible budgets do become time consuming because there is a need to separate semi-variable cost. Semi-variable cost is a cost that includes the component of fixed as well as variable. So yes, in flexible budget, because we do use actual units, so actual units are the one that needs to be considered for variable cost, because variable cost is a cost that varies with the level of output. So for variable cost, we need actual units. So we need to separate variable cost here. And once we separate, so that then only we can apply that variable cost to actual units. And that's why it's important to separate, so that this might be time consuming. Moving towards incremental budget is a one that starts from previous period budget and actual result. Incremental budget does assumes that the previous period information is appropriate. So it does assumes that the previous information is appropriate and we can rely on that previous information. So in incremental budget, there are just two things that need to be justified. And those two things are inflation and known changes. So the only justification that is required in an incremental budget is that incremental budget requires justification of inflation and known change. Now, what is inflation? Yes, the future inflation. And what is unknown change? It's very simple. What new changes the company is actually planning to bring in the organization are known as known changes. For example, if you want to fire a few staff members, so that is a deliberate action that you want to take. Or if you need to hire new people, so that is also a deliberate action that you need to take. So inflation and known change is extremely important. So the only justification is required is about inflation and known change, and it assumes that the previous period actual result is all okay and there is no justification required, because it does starts from previous period budgeted figures or actual results, and in that actual only we need to incorporate increment, that is inflation and known change. Okay, uh, let me quickly answer one question. Majid Ali Khan, your question is, sir, what's the difference between flexed and flexible budget? It's very simple. Flexible budget is a broad word, and under this flexible budget comes flex budget. That is when you prepare a flexible budget based on actual units, Majid. When you prepare a flexible budget based on actual units, so that is known as flexed budget as well. So you even call that as a flexed budget when you prepare uh, a budget based on actual units. But if you are preparing units that are not actual units, and for example some other units, in order to understand better about the future, so that is just known as flexible budget. So flexible budget is prepared at number of different activity levels, that does includes actual activity as well. And if it is prepared on the basis of actual activity, Majid, so that is known as flexed budget. I hope your question has been answered in the right way. Coming back to the internal budget drawbacks. Okay, because we assume that the previous actual information is appropriate, so this is just an assumption, because definitely previous period problems will not be highlighted. Uneconomic activities that were conducted in the past will not be highlighted, because there were no justification was required. Nobody asked about the previous actual data. Nobody asked about the previous cost of staff members. And it was just an assumption, okay, if this cost has been incurred in the previous year, so we'll assume this will also continue in the next period. And we will not ask anything relating to that particular actual result. So I hope, friends, you are getting my point. Are you with me, everyone? Say yes. So previous problems, uneconomic activities where no justification is required, it will easily be part of the next period budget. It will easily be part of the next year results, next year budget. Even though those are uneconomic ones, those are any abnormal losses, but yes, all those abnormal losses, inefficiencies will be part of the next year budget. So that's why we say that uh, incremental budget is a one that results in wasteful spending as well. Uh, Obviously, because things which are not required will be a one that one needs to incur in order to ensure that budget remains intact. So incremental budget results in inefficient form of budget because it encourages wasteful spending, and all the previous problems that were part of the previous year will easily be forward into the current year. So incremental budget flaws are in front of you, but still we do use incremental budget, especially in stable conditions. So you need to remember that suitability of incremental budget is whenever there is stable condition, we do use incremental budget, because in stable condition, obviously we assume that uh, things will not change. If I compare the previous year with the new year that is coming ahead for which we are making the budget. So if conditions are stable, that is if we can rely on the past for the future, so we can use incremental budget in that case. But if there are so many uncertainties when you compare actual with the future year, that is the coming period, then you cannot use incremental budget. So I hope this is clear. Okay, Ahmed, we have one more question. Flexible budget make after or before actual financial year? Ahmed, if we are making flexible budget at the stage of planning, okay, at the stage of planning, which means before the actual financial year, so that is also possible, and that is known as planning flexible budgets. Okay, and if you are making a budget after the actual financial year, so that is also known as flexible budget, because but the purpose of that flexible budget, Ahmed, is to compare with actual result. So if you are making after the actual financial year, so that is known as flexed budget, because you are making that flexible budget based on actual units. Okay, so I hope this is clear, Ahmed. Okay, so I can see one more question, and I just want to discuss right now. Can we handle these problems with known changes in incremental budget? Mohammed Suban right now asked me this question. Yes, actually, what we'll be doing, I have conducted previous webinars as well. So I will be sharing you today previous webinar links, exact links where you can find certain questions that I've done in the past, because I don't want to repeat all the questions that I've done in the past, because those are already available on the ACCA platform. So I would be giving you the reference of that. And this is the plan that I was talking about initially, that after every session, I'll be sharing certain questions that I want you people to check from the previous webinars as well, so that your entire question bank gets more extended and you get lot of variety based different questions. Okay, so incremental budget, I have covered this quickly. What incremental budget is? Zero based budget is the next budget uh, that is a one that starts from a base of zero. Now if you see, incremental starts from previous year actual result, but zero based budget says no, you need to start the budget from the base of zero, and it assumes that uh, budgeting activity is being undertaken for the first time. Even for example, you are preparing a budget for a canteen, and you are running a canteen since last 15 years, for example, but zero based budget says no, 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 no. It says that it assumes that canteen is being undertaken for the first time, so it ignores the previous years. It does not rely on previous year results of canteen, and it is a budget that starts the activity from the scratch, and it says that let's make a budget for this year from scratch with no reference taken from the past. So zero based budget is almost opposite to incremental budget, as it starts from a base of zero. The steps include, we make a decision package about each activity. So for each activity, we make a decision package. For example, canteen, for example, maintenance. These are all activities that are conducted in an organization. So yes, decision package is made for each and every activity. Now, what is a decision package? Decision package actually indicates the purpose of the activity, why the activity is important. Secondly, what are the consequences of not conducting the activity? what are the cost versus benefit of the activity. So decision package provides answers of all the questions that one asks relating to the activity, that why are we performing an activity. So in a decision package we get complete justification about the activity, and I'll discuss this through the past paper answer more. Then we evaluate and rank, which means decision packages are prepared for so many activities. So what we do is that we then evaluate on the basis of cost versus benefit, that which activity is more important than the other one. So all the decision packages are compared. For example, we compare activity of a canteen with the activity of maintenance, and through that we perform a cost versus benefit analysis, and after that we allocate the resources. So the one that is more important has been included in the budget first. So it's opposite to incremental budget. What positives does this have? Number one, staff involvement. Obviously, to prepare decision packages, you need to involve people. Number two, efficient allocation. Yes, the major problems which was in incremental budget. See, I'm creating a link here. See the link. This is the $1 million link, that using zero-based budget, it results in efficient allocation of the resources. This means all the previous problems and inefficiencies will be removed. Same, you can see this third point as well. So all the inefficiencies will be removed, and once inefficiencies will be removed, this means best activities will be included in the budget, because you are ranking. So through this ranking you ensure that best allocation is done, and those activities that really are considered important should be included first in the budget. So I hope this is clear. It results in efficient allocation, and it removes inefficiencies that were mentioned in your previous incremental budget. But there are certain drawbacks, and the drawbacks include, yes, ranking process may be subjective. Once you rank the activities, so there comes subjectivity. We'll discuss that as well through the past paper question. So maybe ranking will be difficult, so many activities, and you might not be able to rank accordingly. Time consuming, yeah, it does use lot of time, and this is time consuming because you need to prepare decision package for each and every activity, and this will require training, as well as time will be spent a lot. Consider decision package requires skills, requires training, because not every manager is being able to prepare the decision package. So you need to train them so that you can prepare the decision package accordingly. So yeah, it's a costly activity, but it starts from a base of zero and eliminates all the problems that were in incremental budget. Inefficient operations actually means, for example, uh, when efficiency is not there, when productivity is not there, when your input is not producing maximum output. So this is inefficiency. So productivity is not good when one say inefficient. So yes, it is something that is one which is controlled by zero-based budget, and that is uh, inefficiency removed. Now zero-based budget is useful in case of discretionary cost. Now what is discretionary cost? Any cost that is not mandatory. Discretionary costs like marketing costs, like research and development costs. For these costs, zero-based budget is useful. Even for public sector organizations, for public sector not for profit organizations, it's really useful, just because that public sector ultimate purpose is not to maximize the profits. So in those sectors, it is really important to ask questions why we are performing these activities. So zero-based budget will provide really justified answers why activities are being performed in a public sector, so that no unnecessary activity is being performed. So this is clear in public sector organizations and for discretionary costs like marketing and research and development. Then we have rolling budgets. Rolling budgets are for uncertain situations, when conditions are dynamic, when conditions are very much, uh, a one that one would say volatile situation, when interest rate is changing, when exchange rate is changing, when demand and supply is fluctuating a lot. So this is the time where rolling budget should be used, because if you still use fixed budget in such situations, then fixed budget will definitely become out of date, because things are changing very fast, maybe on a monthly basis, maybe on a quarterly basis. When things are changing so fast, so you cannot rely on rolling budgets, sorry, you cannot rely on fixed budgets, because your budget will become easily out of date. So rolling budget is for uncertain situations where we add the budget by adding a further period and deducting the earliest period. So we'll just see this once we move towards the past paper question, how a rolling budget updates the budget. What it does is it reduces uncertainty. Yeah, it cannot eliminate, you cannot eliminate uncertainty, so it does reduces uncertainty to a greater extent by just adding the budget periods ahead once the previous expires. So yes, it reduces uncertainty, and using rolling budget, your control will be based on the recent updated plan, because you are continuously updating your budget according to the market conditions. So the key thing is that rolling budget is being updated according to the market conditions. So through this, our plan will be updated on on considering the bad points. So it's very clear, it's costly and time consuming. Obviously you need to continuously change your budgets, you need to add your budgets, you need to add further period into the budgeting year. So yes, it requires constant work from the management needs to be on their feet for these, and they need to just change and add further budgeting periods again and again on a regular basis. So it does requires time, and it will be costly. And because of so much updation in the budgeting, one would say that they will have less time to control over the actual results. So they will be able to control less the actual results, because their major time is being involved in preparing the budgets. So rolling budgets is for uncertain situation where we just roll forward the budget and we incorporate the market conditions into our budgeting, so that we make our budget up to date, and it is very much better compared to fixed budget that is a static budget. And in dynamic environment, your fixed budget will not be that much useful. So I hope I've covered a lot of the main areas of these 5 budgets. And now, before I move towards activity-based budget, I quickly want to shift towards one of the past paper questions. So it's time for practice, and let's practice and let's solve a very good question and see how we need to handle that question. So I'm moving towards the question. Okay, now we are at this question. Static company, which is December 2016 attempt question, and I'll be solving this question in front of you. This is basically constructive response area, where you are provided with a spreadsheet in your examination. So we'll solve this entire question along with its theory, and I will be discussing this question in very detailed way. So let's start with the reading of the question. You can see it says that static company is a multinational consumer goods company. Traditionally, the company has used a fixed annual budgeting process. Now, this is important. It has used fixed annual budgeting process in which it sets quarterly sales revenue targets for each of its products. And okay, for its products lines. Historically, however, if a product line fails to reach its sales revenue target in any of the first 3 quarters, the company's sales director, finance director simply go back and reduce the sales revenue targets for the quarter just ended to make it look like that the target was reached. Okay. They then increase the target for the final quarter to include any shortfall in sales for earlier quarters. Now, this is strange if you just observe that what they actually do is that once they have a fixed budget, okay, and they have quarterly targets, and once they are unable to fulfill the quarterly targets, so what they do, they just make changes in the final quarter, and they include all the shortfalls in the final quarter. So this is what they do, and they make a change in the final quarter, decreasing the last financial during the last financial year ended 31st August 2016, sorry 26 20x6. This practice meant that managers had to heavily discount many of their products line in final quarter in order to boost sales volume and meet the increased targets. So obviously, the last quarter uh, will be a one where the pressure will increase, and because what they were doing is that they added all the shortfalls in the last quarter. So in the last quarter, they had to discount the products so that they can meet the sales target. Now let's see what happens after discounting. So it says that even with discounts, however, they still did not quite reach the targets on the basis of the sales target set at the beginning of that year. Still they were not able to achieve the targets. The company had also invested 6 million in a new production line in January 20x6. Okay. However, to date, this new much production line still has not been used. As a result of these both factors, the company saw a dramatic fall in ROI from 16 to 8% in the year. Now, this is a big decline, right? This is a big decline. You also, I hope, can understand what I'm actually saying. That what they did, they made an investment as well. They thought that sales will increase, and they made an investment, and that resulted in reduction in ROI as well. Consequently, the managing director, the finance director, and the sales director have all been dismissed. Okay, now this was a manipulation, right? What they were doing is they were just adding all the deficits of the first three quarters into the last quarter, and that resulted in big manipulation, and the company ROI fell down, and all the three members were dismissed. Two key members of the accounts department are also on sick leave. Now this is a pathetic situation due to stress and are not expected to return for some weeks. The new MD, now he's a new MD who is inexperienced in this industry, which means in consumer goods industry he's not very rich in experience, has been appointed and is in the process of recruiting a new sales director and a new finance director. He said these mistakes could have been largely avoided if company had been using rolling budgets instead of manipulating fixed budgets. From now, we will be using rolling budgets, updating our budgets on a quarterly basis with immediate effect. So we can see the original budget here. The original fixed budget for the year ended 31st August 20x7 for which the first quarter has just been ended and is shown below. You can see sales revenue, cost of sales, distribution cost, administration cost, and operating profit. The budget was based on following assumptions. So let's see the assumptions. Sales volume would grow by a fixed compound percentage each quarter. So now listen guys, these are the assumptions on the basis of which the above budget is prepared. So do understand these assumptions, and these are key for the right answer. Gross profit margin would remain stable each quarter. Okay. Distribution costs would remain a fixed percentage of revenue each quarter. Okay. Administrative costs would be fixed each quarter. That's fine. So based on these above assumptions, I hope you are understanding, everyone. Are you with me? Based on these above assumptions, the above budget has been prepared. So actual results for the first quarter have just been produced and are as follows. So these are the actual results, which means the first quarter has expired, and once the first quarter expire, so what we need to do guys, we need to add another period into it. Okay, we need to add another period into it. The new managing director believes that the difference between actual and the budgeted sales figure for quarter one is a result of incorrect forecasting of prices. However, he is confident that the four assumptions, now this is key. Everyone, are you with me? Hello, can you see the screen, right? Come on, reply me. Are you with me? So, however, he's confident that the four assumptions the fixed budget was based on were correct, and that the rolling budget should still be prepared using these assumptions. So, which means that the four assumptions on the basis of which the fixed budget has been prepared, these assumptions will remain same for preparing rolling budgets. So you will not change the assumptions. It says prepare a static company's rolling budget for the next quarter for 8 marks. So now let's start with the solution. This is on a spreadsheet and we are solving this part A using this spreadsheet. This is the same spreadsheet as will be available in your examination. So it's completely replication of that exam based spreadsheet. So you need to be familiar with, and I'm sure this will help you. So you can see here that this is the spreadsheet. We need to make budgets. So I'm just writing the actual results just for our good understanding. This is revenue, this is cost of sales, we have gross profit here, we have distribution cost here, and we have administration cost here as well. Then we have operating profit. Okay, so actual results I'm just writing for good understanding, and the numbers are 14096. Everyone, you need to be with me. 14096. Just wait. Okay, second we have, I'm writing this in negative, 8740. The gross profit is 5356 minus 705. Then we have minus 2020, and then we have 2631. So these are the actual numbers that were given. Now, as the first period had expired, yeah, you have to write this in the spreadsheet. So as the first period has been expired, so we'll be preparing budget for quarters. Come on, guys, I need quick answers from you people. Can you tell me if we are using rolling budgets, so we need to prepare budgets for which quarters? Can you tell me the name of the quarters? Come on, guys, be fast. Can you tell me the name of the quarters? Come on, everyone. I'm waiting for your answers. Ahmed replied 2, 3, 4. Mehran said second. Come on. What else? Majid Ali says 2, 3, 4, 1. Everyone. I need to you all to participate here. Be with me. Need answers. There are 100 plus students right now. Come on, tell me. So we'll be preparing budgets for how many quarters? Yeah, I'm getting good answers. I'm getting wrong answers. I'm getting right answers. Muhammad Osama says 2, 3, 4, and 5. Umar Mubin 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, James says 4 budgets. What, James? You need to name it, please. Okay, so what we're doing is we will be preparing budgets for quarter 2 as the first quarter expired. So we will be prepared budget. We'll prepare budget for quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, and quarter 1 of next year. So these will be for the budgeting period, and this will be the next year. So we'll be preparing 1 quarter of the next year. So yes, this is what we need to do here. So remember, in case of what we call, in case of rolling budgets does what? Let me just quickly just add few things so that you understand very quickly what rolling budget does. So let me just write here. Once the first quarter expired, okay, once the first quarter expired, so what rolling budget does is that it compares the first quarter budget with the first quarter actual result. And once you compare, so after comparison you find variances. So all those are uncontrollable variances, all those are what you call uncontrollable variances, which means those which the management cannot do anything about, all those variances which are not under the control of the managers. There are certain factors which are beyond the company's control, like inflation levels, like demand and supply situation, like exchange rates. So all those uncontrollable variances, which are not under the responsibility of the company's managers, are then incorporated into the remaining quarters. So what they do, all those uncontrollable factors are incorporated into the remaining quarters. Now, because of this, your budget becomes up to date. Okay, because of this, your budget becomes up to date. So for uncontrollable factors, the budget is updated, and because of that updation, your other quarters becomes up to date according to market conditions. So for all uncontrollable factors, your budget is updated, that is the remaining quarters is updated, which means that once your first quarter has expired, the company has compared that with the actual results and have found certain things, and based on those, the company will then incorporate that into the remaining quarters. So you'll be making budgets for quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, and quarter 1 of the next period. Okay, now, okay, Parvez, I think you need to pace up here. Now, what is important when making budgets? Come on, guys. Is the assumptions. So if you just look here, is the assumptions. Sales volume would grow by fixed compound percentage each quarter. When you're making the rolling budgets, you need to ensure that you have to follow the same budget assumptions. These four assumptions, as you can see here, needs to be followed. So it says that the sales will grow by a fixed compound percentage. Now, what this means, you need to work out a percentage, a growth percentage using the 2 quarters given in the budget, and whatever growth rate comes here will be the growth rate that you will be applying on the remaining quarters. So let's find out the fixed compound percentage, and let's make this working area, and you can do this in your examination as well. So let's find out the percentage sales growth, and that will be done very easily using the formula. So the numbers that I'm using are from the fixed budget numbers. For example, 13,694 is the quarter 2 figure, and 13,425 is the quarter 1 figure. Let me just open the brackets here, and then let me just close the bracket, and then divide with the previous figure of 13,425. So you can see here, we can work out the growth percentage, and you can see the numbers. I've used the numbers of the budget, and this answer is how much? 2%. So I'm getting the answer here, and the answer will be 2%. Okay, so this is the 2% answer of sales growth, and as it was required in the question that we have to follow the four assumptions that are available in the fixed budget, so we have to follow the guideline, and let's apply a 2% growth on which figure. Now the question comes, which figure? So there are two things, the budgeted quarter 1 figure or the actual quarter 1 figure. Now, I need replies from you people quickly. Can you tell me on which figure we need to apply? Obviously, on actual, just because rolling budget considers the market situation. It considers the market position. As I mentioned, it compares the first quarter results with first quarter budget, and then see what the market changes is, and according to that it will update that. So yes, actual reflects the market conditions, actual result best reflects the market conditions. So yes, it will be applied on this. So I'll multiply this with 1.02. You can see the workings that I'm doing here, and Once I have done that, so this is the figure that I'm getting here. And now, guys, this is the best part. Now, you don't have to do anything else. Every quarter, as it says, every quarter, the percentage will be applied. So I will just copy this through the function of Control C. You have Control C here function, and you can use Control V, and you just paste here, and you will do same Control V here and same Control V here, and you can see the numbers are coming here. So let me quickly just cross check the workings for you people. If you just look here for quarter 3, I've used the quarter 2 figure. In this quarter 2 figure, we have incorporated the 2% growth rate, and this is what we were required to do. So this is the 2% growth rate that have been incorporated into quarter 2 figure. And if I just show you the working for quarter 4, so you can see for quarter 4 we have used the quarter 3 figure, and we've incorporated 2% in that as well. And you can see quarter 1. So in quarter 1, again, we've used the quarter 4 figure, and we've incorporated the 2% here. So like this, what I'm doing, that I've incorporated the 2% growth impact, and which was mentioned in the budget. So I hope this is clear to all of you. What actually are we required to do here? Now, second, it says, second assumption, gross profit margin would remain stable each quarter. Gross profit margin would remain stable each quarter. So whatever the gross profit margin is, it will remain stable. So try to understand the assumption, because people do not understand what is actually being mentioned here. It says that uh, gross profit margin remains stable each quarter. So whatever gross profit margin is, you have to take that. Now, the question is, do we have to take gross profit margin of fixed budget, or we have to take gross profit margin of actual? Come on, guys, what do you think here? We have to take gross profit margin of fixed budget or the actual results? I need your input very quickly. Come on. Omar said budget, Safir actual, Ahmed says actual, Irfan says actual. Yeah, I'm getting the answers. I want you people to interact with me. Let's talk, guys. So it's budget or actual. Now, keeping in mind that rolling budget does considers the market changes and does considers the market, so yes, you have to take actual gross profit margin, but according to the assumptions, you have to keep keep that gross profit margin stable. So do make sure that this second assumption never said that you have to use the fixed budget gross profit margin. It is just mentioning that the gross profit margin, whatever you are taking, should remain stable. That's it. So what people normally think is, they say, okay, you have to use gross profit margin of fixed budget, which is not right. It is just mentioning that gross profit margin would remain stable. Now you have to use that gross profit margin of actual result, because actual will reflect the current situation. So I am calculating this, and it says 5356 divided by 14096, and like this, we are getting a gross profit margin. Let's calculate the percentage, and this percentage is coming up as 38%. So we have to take actual, because actual will reflect the market situation. Are you getting, everyone? So we have to use this 38%, and according to this second assumption, now listen everyone, now I am applying this second assumption, which says gross profit margin would remain stable each quarter. So I will make this 38% stable each quarter. I will ensure that 38% remains stable each quarter. Okay, so now, to make this stable, let's quickly apply a formula. Sales revenue multiplied by 0.38, this is 38%, 0.38, and I will make this a stable. So I've multiplied this, and now I'm getting this gross profit margin, and I will use this Control C function and will paste here using Control V. I'm mentioning the keys of your keyboard as well. Okay, I'm mentioning the key of your keyboard as well. So once I'm use Control V here, so paste function has been applied, and I am using these numbers of gross profit margin. So these are the gross profit margin. You can quickly cross check 38%, 38%, and this was required in the budget assumption that we have to keep these stable. So this is stable. I hope this is clear. Moving forward, what is next required? I can work out the cost of sales now by using a simple formula. Say revenue I have, gross profit also I have. So from this revenue, if I deduct gross profit, I will get cost of sales. So I can easily work out cost of sales here. And this is cost of sales that I'm getting. So this is the figure of cost of sales. And I want to show this in negative. So I will get this cost of sales as well. So this is cost of sales, and I can apply the same formula, control C and use control V. I'll get cost of sales here. So these are the cost of sales that you can see here. I hope this is clear. Don't worry about these numbers. I'll fix the numbers. I'll fix the rounding off as well. Don't worry. We'll do a magic at the end. Now, third assumption is distribution cost would remain a fixed percentage of revenue each quarter. Distribution cost would remain a fixed percentage of revenue each quarter. So let's see distribution cost. Now, which distribution cost do we have to use? Again, we can use actual here because actual reflects the market condition. So I will be working out the actual distribution cost, and that will be I can see the number 705 divided by 14096 actual numbers, and this is the distribution cost. Let's see how much percent are we getting the here. That is 5%. So I have to ensure 5% distribution cost, and I have to show this in negative as well. So what I am doing here is that I will use the sales figure and will multiply this with 0.05 because this is 5%, and it did mention that I have to use the same assumption. So I'm using the same budget assumption of 5%. I'll use control C function, will use control V function, and I will get all the negative distribution cost here. So these are the distribution costs that I'm getting. A quick check, 5%, a quick check, sales 5%, a quick check, sales 5%. Now administration cost, obviously we will be using that administration cost which is fixed each quarter, and that will be for actual again. So we'll be using the actual administration cost figure, and I just need to give a reference and will copy paste the entire figure. So administration cost will be used, that will be of actual numbers, and I'll apply a formula of sum here in order to find out the final answers. So I have worked out the gross profit. From this, I need to deduct the distribution cost. From that, I need to deduct the administration cost, and I'll be using the sum formula. And so once you can see we are getting the answer. So a quick check, you can see the answer here, like we have worked out this gross profit minus all cost. And yes, control C, control V, and I'm getting all the profit answers. So let's just sort out the matters here. And the matters are, now see what the function that I'm using here. What I'm doing is I've selected the entire numbers. See, I've selected the entire numbers, and we'll do a magic here. And the magic is I'm going to this option which is available on your examination platform, and you just go to this option. So let me count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th option. I'm going towards the 10th option. And once I will go towards the 10th option, so you can see everything has been sorted out and numbers are very much clearly mentioned here. So you can see here this all has been sorted out here, and there's no issue. You can see things are clearly given. Yeah, but make sure this will be in negative. It is just because that we have applied a formula here. So right now you can't see this in negative because from this revenue I've deducted the gross profit. So technically this should come in negative. The figure is okay, but we can represent this in negative terms. I hope this is clear to all of you. Okay, friends. Understood the technique, the way I'm using the spreadsheet. Come on, give me your feedbacks. Are you happy with the way I am using the spreadsheet and the techniques that I'm telling you how to handle spreadsheet? So I'm just doing calculation in one cell. You see, I'm just repeating here. I did this calculation in one cell. The rest is all copy paste. The rest is all copy paste. This is the beauty about spreadsheet, that you use the right formula. Yeah, you can round off, no issues. Yeah. So you just apply a formula is one cell, and then it's just copy paste that you have to do. I've just applied the formula in one cell, and the next what all I've done is simple a copy paste exercise. I've just used all these formulas I've pasted here, and I've to and I and this means I do not have to just go again and do the workings. So this is the best part, that you just input the formula in one cell and then enjoy by using copy paste option, using the spreadsheet. This is the spreadsheet. This is available in your examination, and you can see that we have done this working of part A. So hope this is clear. Okay, let me just show you again. You can see I'm selecting the entire thing. I'm going towards this option. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10th option is what I'm selecting here. And once I select this 10th option, I am getting these answers. Okay. Yeah, this is it for 8 marks. Okay. I did mention here, if I just put here negative sign, so that can create a problem. So that is why I'm not using the negative sign. I did mention because I've inputted a formula here. So that's why you can see this positive, but this is actually in negative terms. I hope this is clear. So see, I've followed all the assumptions that were mentioned in the scenario. Fixed compound percentage, 2%. I did ensure that gross profit remains stable. As you can see, I did ensure that 5% distribution cost has to be used. This is, you can see here, and I will show that administration cost remains same each quarter. So I hope the entire answer is clear. Yes, guys, happy? Come on, give your feedbacks. Now, now, now. Yeah, you can practice the ACCA portal as well, no issues. Yeah, it's suitable for changing environment. This is the option. You just go here, 10th option. See, 10th. Okay, now I'm moving towards the next part, and those are the theoretical parts that I need to discuss in detail with you people. No references that needs to give. Examiner can check through the formula cell. Examiner can use this formula cell and check what calculations have been done. So you don't have to do it. Okay. Yeah, this option is not available in original Excel, but this is available on your ACCA portal platform. This will be available in your examination as well. Now I'm moving towards the next part, which says discuss. Okay, which says discuss the problems which have occurred at static company due to budgeting process, an improvement which might now be seen through the use of realistic rolling budgets. So this is for 6 marks, and let's discuss quickly what actually we are required to do here. It says discuss the problems which have occurred at the company due to previous budgeting process, an improvement which might now be seen through the use of realistic budgeting. So this is for 8 marks, and for this 8 marks, what actually are we required to do? So let's quickly check what we need to do for this 8 mark. Now, guys, going back to the presentation area, this is the question. Now, I'll tell you what we need to do when it comes to answering the question. Okay, no references is required. The examiner can check through your cell the calculations. Okay, it's good if you want to give, you can give the references, but examiner can check through the cells. Now, this is the second part, and what I am doing is I am just breaking the question into different parts. There are two things to learn. In every question, there is an examinable verb and there is also an examinable object. Okay, so there is an examinable verb and examinable object. So verbs are like discuss, illustrate, explain, briefly justify, compare. These are verbs. And object is what? Object is that core thing for which the verb is being used. So object is that core area for which the verb is used. That is object. Okay. So you have to focus on objects. If you will understand what the object is, I think you will have no problem in writing the right answer. Your focus should be towards object. Okay. So let's see what verb is being used and how many objects are there. So see, this is the verb discuss. What to discuss is the object. Problems which have occurred at company due to previous budgeting process, which was fixed budget. So there is not just one object, there are two objects. And the second object is and the improvements which might now be seen through the use of realistic rolling budgets. So now you have to answer two things. This is how we split a question. This is how we break the requirement. This is how we deal with the scenario. Let me clearly tell you, if you will not answer both the objects, you will never be given marks for that. You will never be given marks for that. If you will never write about the two objects. So if someone spent too much time on this, if you spend too much time on this and you left out this part, you will just be awarded for this area and not for this area. This is the examiner mindset. This is your examiner says that if I'm asking you two things, you answer me two things. Don't answer the area that you best know. You have to answer two things. Until unless you do not, you will not get marks. So I hope every question in every question now what you will be able to do is that you will be able to find out the verbs and the objects. Okay, the second thing that I want to teach you here is you have to see in a theory question whether the question is a knowledge based question or it's an application based question. So what is knowledge based and what is application based? Knowledge based means you do not have to link with the scenario. It's a simple knowledge that you have to mention. You don't have to apply that knowledge. So knowledge based question are a one in which you just have to tell about the knowledge, the basic knowledge. Okay, if someone asks you what is a fixed budget, you will mention the definition of fixed budget. If someone will ask you the benefits of zero based budget, so you will just tell the advantage of zero based budget. This is knowledge based, where you do not have to link with the scenario. Are you getting, every one of you? But when it comes to application based, then you have to apply what? You have to apply your knowledge to scenario, to case study. In a pure knowledge based question, you just have to tell your knowledge. But in an application based question, you have to apply that knowledge in the scenario. So that is where people lack. That is where your examiner is really frustrated. And I'll show you the examiner reports today as well. I will teach you completely question exam based. I will not waste your time on basic content. I want to teach you technique to pass. So Knowledge base is a pure knowledge base. Do not have to link with the scenario. Application base is the one where you have to link with the scenario. So now let's read it. Discuss the problems which have occurred at static co due to previous budgeting process and the improvements which now might be seen through the use of realistic rolling budgets. Is this knowledge base or application? Come on, guys, reply me. I need reply from all these students. What do you think? Knowledge application. Just quickly write me. Knowledge application. Come on. Knowledge application. Be fast, be fast, be fast. Everyone, be fast. Knowledge application. So the answer is application based because it mentioned clearly that you have to apply your knowledge to static company. Apply your knowledge to static code. So it's an application based question. Now, if you mention the general disadvantages of a fixed budget, you will not get marks. If you just write, okay, let's write drawbacks of a fixed budget, you will not get marks. Okay, you say, okay, let's write advantages of rolling budget. No, you will not get marks. You will not get marks. You have to apply the advantages to the scenario. You have to apply the drawbacks to the scenario. You have to write scenario based. So if you will write general advantages or drawbacks, you will not get marks for that. Examiner will not give you marks. So I hope you are understanding the marking scheme here as well. Now, what are we supposed to do? This is an application based and this is clear. Now, let's write scenario based answer. Let's find out scenario based answer. So if I just go back to the scenario, the current fixed budget results in what? It's very, very simple to figure out. The current fixed budget results in what? Let's see. The current fixed budget results in manipulation. That is, you can see first paragraph. Can you see this cursor sign? First paragraph. They then increase the target for the final quarter to include any shortfall. This is manipulation. This is the problem that they are doing using fixed annual budgeting. This is the problem that they are doing using fixed annual budgeting. Are you getting my point? So this is what is the problem that is being done here. Manipulation. And due to this manipulation, what is happening? The budgets are becoming unrealistic. So this is the scenario based problem that you have to mention. Okay, so let's see what are we supposed to do here. Problems. Two things you have to answer. One, problems. Second, improvements. So what are the problems? Inaccurate sales forecast figure because your sales was not appropriate. So what they did, they purchased the investment. See, in the second paragraph, they made a huge investment and that investment resulted in a decrease in ROI. 6 million were invested because they thought, okay, sales will increase. And if sales will increase, so yes, we will get more revenue. So in second paragraph, it did mention about 6 million increase in sales. Sorry, it did mention about 6 million investment that they did. And this 6 million investment resulted in reduction in ROI. So this is a scenario based answer that you have to write. So inaccurate sales forecast led to invest in a production line which was not actually needed, even though they knew they were inaccurate. This unnecessary investment cost them 6 million and caused the ROI to drop. Scenario based answer. Plus, inaccurate sales forecast would have led business to get their staffing levels and material purchases wrong as well. Because if you have a wrong sales forecast, this means your entire budgeting would get wrong. Then they were forced to heavily discount their goods. Now let me show in the scenario. Okay, let me mention the paragraph here. You can see here, it did mention in the second paragraph, and you can see line 1, 2, 3, 4. Line 3, they had to give heavy discounts. So line 2, you see, had to heavily discount many of their products. So this discount resulted in what? This discount resulted in loss of profitability. Your profit went down because of this discount. So your profit got affected because of the discount and your ROI fell down. So the problem is they were forced to heavily discount in order to try and achieve their targets at the end of the year, which was simply unrealistic. So these are the problems of the current budgeting. Are you getting, everyone? Are you with me? Everything is scenario based. This is scenario based 6 million. This is scenario based discount. So everything should be scenario based. Okay. So these are the problems. Now, one more thing I need to add. If you increase the prices, if you reduce the prices, then it gets really impossible to increase the price back. If you have reduced the price, how can you increase the price again? Because you've reduced the prices. So this is another problem. So you have to cover this object, and this should be scenario based. You cannot write general here. Getting my point, everyone? Hello? Come on, give your feedbacks. Is this okay? Come on, say yes. Are you understanding the linking? Then comes the improvement part. Then comes the improvement part. How rolling budget will help in such a situation? How? You cannot write general advantages. You have to link with the scenario. So let's see the links. The use of rolling budget should mean that a downturn in demand is adjusted for in future quarters. See, when we made rolling budgets, so we did incorporated the market condition. Everything was based on actual figures. And once you prepared everything on actual figures, this means you are considering the market condition. So using rolling budgets, what will happen? Your numbers will become more accurate, and numbers will be according to market condition. And once you have accurate numbers, once you have realistic budgets, because we do know that rolling budget results in realistic budgets. So once you have realistic budgets, accurate decisions will be taken. For example, through rolling budgets, company would have never invested in that 6 million machinery because the accurate targets were available to them. Okay. So through rolling budgets, the management is forced to assess budget regularly and produce up-to-date information. So this is the benefit of rolling budget. You have to link with the scenario, and you just saw here that it will allow to take right decisions. Company would never take a decision of 6 million had it been using rolling budgets because of the realistic targets. Okay, let me repeat the problems. I did mention that using the current fixed budget, the company targets were not appropriate. They were doing manipulation, and because of that, inaccurate results targets were being made. And because of this, company made an investment in a machinery as well. So we did saw here in the second paragraph, you can see second paragraph, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth line, invested 6 million in new machinery. Because of the inaccurate forecast, company purchased wrong machinery. I hope this is clear. Okay. So this should be scenario based. Now let's move towards the examiner feedback. What examiner has to say about the two parts that we just solved. In part A, many candidates simply calculated gross profit from original budget. This is the feedback from examiner. So we had to take actual, because actual is important, and ignored the actual quarter one figures. This is the examiner feedback. This meant that their cost of sales and gross profit figures were therefore incorrect as well. Another error was, a common error was to start rolling budget with actual quarters. There were answers where people started with the budget. So this is the examiner feedback, that there were few people that started from the budgeted figures rather than actual figures, and they were using actual they were not using actual gross profit margin and were using budgeted gross profit. This is the examiner feedback. In part B, many candidates simply copied out of parts of the scenario. You can't just copy the problem. For example, you can't just write, let me just show you. You can't just write the problem like, for example, this one. See, uh, they first paragraph, second last line, they then increase the target from the final quarter to include any shortfall in the sales. You can't just write that in the second paragraph it says that this practice meant that managers had to heavily discount many of their products in the final quarter. You can't just write this simply. You have to tell what will happen if the company offers discount. So you can't just copy paste the things. Rather, you have to mention that because of discount, what happened? Because of discount, the problem that happened is company's ROI went down. Because of discount, company's prices went down. Because of discount, company can never increase the price again. Because once you have reduced the price, how will you increase the price again? You have to mention the problems. You do not have to write what is mentioned in the scenario. Are you all getting my point? So you have to mention about the problem that will arise from this. Okay. So you can't just use scenario sentences. You have to tell what will result in if this happens. So I hope this is clear. Okay, everyone, are you with me? Understanding the way I am relinking with a scenario? Come on, give me your feedback. Okay, so you make sure when you write, you have to mention about the problems, not just the scenario wordings. Okay, now coming back to the next point, and that is the next requirement. So the next requirement was discuss the problems which may encountered when static company tries to implement the new budgeting system. Now, the verb is discuss and the object is problems. Now, the new budgeting system is what? Rolling budgets. So what you have to write? Yeah, I am giving you a break. Yeah, I am giving you a break after this part. Okay, after this part. Okay, I'm giving you a break after this part. Now, sorry, we had to cover the improvement part. So let's cover the improvement. Yeah, we did cover the improvement part. Okay, now, so this part, third one, discuss the problem which may be encountered when static company tries to implement the new budgeting system. So see what we have to write. We have to write about the rolling budgets problems, or we have to write about the implementation problems. Students, you can't believe examiner said that people were writing about the rolling budget general problems. The biggest problem was that candidate didn't understand the requirement fully or simply answered the question that they wanted it to be. You can't write rolling budget problems. You have to write about what will be the problem in implementation. So if anyone is writing about the general rolling budget problems like general drawbacks of rolling budget, that person is doing wrong. You have to mention about the implementation issues. Implementation issues. That if we go for rolling budget, what implementation problems will we face? So if you are writing a general rolling budget drawback answer, it's wrong. You have to tell about implementation problems. If we go for rolling budget, what implementation issues the company will face? And it should be scenario based. It's an application based question. You have to mention about the genuine implementation problems, not the normal ones. Sorry, you have to mention about the scenario based implementation problems, not the general ones. Are you getting the point? So what problems the company will face if company moves towards rolling budgets? It's very simple. If you want to implement rolling budgets, you don't have see the third paragraph. See the third paragraph, first line. You don't have managing director. A newly managing director has been appointed. The previous one has been dismissed. So the previous managing director has been dismissed. There is no finance director. There is no sales director, which means lack of staff. And lack of staff means what? You will not get accurate numbers. This is creating a hurdle in the implementation. Are you all listening to me? Lack of staff is the problem. Lack of staff is creating the problem. Lack of staff will ensure that you don't have accurate numbers. So, lack of staffing will create a problem in gathering accurate information for rolling budgets. You can't write general drawbacks. Secondly, new process means it will create problems in gathering the accurate information because it's a new process. You need to train them. They are used to making what? Fixed budgets. Now they will be shifted making what? Rolling budgets. So you need to train them. This is an implementation issue. You have to write implementation problems. Okay. Third, this process takes time. Obviously, you can see here in the scenario that these people were continuously involved in making the budget. See, uh, in the first paragraph, you can see that what they were doing, they were adjusting their budgets. All the shortfall of the previous quarters were incorporated into the last quarter. Remember, as mentioned in the first paragraph of the scenario here. So they are already involved in this budgeting process. So if you ask them to work again on rolling budget, they will get demotivated. They will think, okay, this is too much. So this process takes time, and process requires time, which means staff may become demotivated. Another issue of implementation is the new MD is inexperienced. See, it says inexperienced. It is very clearly mentioned here. The new MD is inexperienced. So you can see here, inexperienced MD. So being an inexperienced MD means that yes, he might lack the skills, how it works, and these are the implementation problems. So any answer that focuses on general drawbacks will not be awarded with marks. You have to be scenario specific. You have to be scenario based. So I hope my entire emphasis on the answer drafting is clear. I hope you like the approach. Come on, what's your feedback? Are you getting my point? I want. Do you really think that this method is helping you? What you say, guys? Is this method helping you or not? Are you getting how to draft the answer? Give your feedbacks. Do you like the method? Come on, tell me, do you like the method? Okay, then I would recommend that these questions are already available with you. So you would have gone through the question before. That's why we are giving you the questions before. Okay. Okay. Now let's take a 5 minute break. A 5 minute break. And after 5 minutes, we will start the discussion again. So it's a 5 minute break. See you in 5 minutes time. Okay, welcome back. Now I will be taking certain questions later on at the end of the session. So I will be giving you time for the question answer session. So you just note down all the questions you have and we can just have a quick 5-7 minutes question answer session at the end as well. So I hope this is clear how I've linked the thing with the scenario. This is an application based question where you have to apply the knowledge, and applying the knowledge we have to write that in the scenario. We cannot just copy paste the content from the scenario. We have to elaborate it. Like I mentioned, if the company is giving discounts, so company should mention that what discount will actually result in for the company. So that is a problem. Mentioning just about the discount is not a problem itself, but you have to mention where this will result in. So coming back to the next area, we have activity based budgets. A quick overview. Activity based budget basically is a method where we make budgets uh, for different activities. So what we do, we just break the overheads into certain activities, and for each activity we make a budget, like for inspection, like for material handling, like for setup, we make budgets. So this means we make budgets for different types of activities, and it does uses principles of activity based costing as well. So activity based budget means preparing budgets for different activities like inspection, material handling, and setup. So advantages are it draws attention to activities. Obviously, we make budgets for different activities. So the focus is towards those activities, and it helps us to control the cost of those activities, because once you make a budget, we compare budget with actual. For example, if you made a budget for setup, so the setup budget will be compared with setup actual result, and this will help us to control the cost. But yes, it requires considerable amount of time and effort, and this is just because there are so many activities. So for all those activities, if we make budgets, it does require a lot of time, effort, and this is time consuming. Now, having covered this uh, section C question, where we dealt with the calculation as well as theory, let's move towards the next area, and that next area is of learning curve. I did use the examiner feedback and will give you one question as a homework for today as well. So you need to solve that. Make sure when you are solving a theory question, just see how many verbs are there and how many objects are there. Objects are what? Objects means that those areas for which the verb has been used. So for those objects, you have to answer. Then you see whether question is application based or question is knowledge based. Knowledge based means you just have to tell the basic definition of the things, and application based means yes, you have to apply the knowledge to the scenario. Now I'm moving towards very important calculation of learning curve. So learning curve is a phenomena that is applicable on labor, and once the labor performs any job for the first time, so the time that the labor takes is the highest time, and this highest time is the time for the first unit. Due to repetition, the time comes down, the time reduces because the labor is getting more experience, knowledge, and because of that, the time goes down. But a point comes where the labor becomes completely expert and the learning process then stops. After that, there is no more learning. After that, there is no more learning and the learning stops. And that is the time where the time become constant. So it's like this, that the graph is going down and becomes constant. So the time for the first unit is the highest, and time, for example, after 20 units, the time became constant, and you can see that after that, the time will become same. So okay, guys, we are taking just a 2-minute break in order to fix the audio issue. Okay. Okay, now uh, let's start again. So once you reach 20 units, for example, the learning will stop. And after that, there will be no more learning. Learning stops. So learning curve is a phenomena which says that once labor performs the first task, the time will be highest due to repetition, time goes down, and a time will come where the learning process stops. So for the calculation purpose, there are two approaches. One is double approach, one is log approach. Now, double approach is a one which we use, but especially we use this when we need to work out the learning rate. So when we are required to find out the learning rate, we use this double approach. Okay. And usually we use this log approach, which is y is equals to ax to the power b. Now, in my previous webinar videos, I have covered learning curves basics in a very detailed way. So today, by the end of the session, I will give you the link of those webinars where you can just go back and look at the basics if you have any lacking. Through these webinars, my previous one and the current one, we'll cover the entire major chunk of performance management. So don't worry. So I will give you the reference of the basics if you want of learning curves and the two techniques. Right now, our focus will be towards the past papers so that we can just cover the practice area. So as I mentioned, this double approach is normally used for working out the learning rate if not given in the paper. So it's best to use double approach in that case. Otherwise, in all normal situations, we'll be using log approach. Through these two, what we actually work out, both the techniques provide you one answer, and that is cumulative average time per unit. So both the techniques provide you the same answer of cumulative average time per unit. And this cumulative average time per unit means the average time for all the units that we have produced so far. So cumulative average time per unit is what you can work out through these two approaches. Now, before discussing further, let's move towards another past paper question. And yes, again, this is a challenging part for students when it comes to spreadsheet. So my focus will be towards spreadsheet and will be to help you how to handle such a question on a spreadsheet. So let's solve this using spreadsheet. Now just give me a minute here. Okay, so here we are with another question that I will be solving on the spreadsheet. And the best thing that will happen is that you will understand how to handle learning curve on a spreadsheet, and that too by saving a lot of time. So this is the trick, and I'll do a magic. And if you do like the magic, do let me know. Come on. You need to understand the magic. You need to see the magic. Come on, guys, tell me yes or no. Interested in seeing the magic? Yes or no? Yes. So let's see what magic will I do using spreadsheet, using learning curves. So be ready, be with me. My company produces microphones for mobile phones and operates a standard costing system. Before production commence, the standard labor time per batch for at least its latest microphone was estimated to be 200 hours. The standard labor cost per hour is 12, and the resource allocation and cost data were therefore initially prepared on this. Production of the microphone started in July, and the number of batches assembled and sold each month was as follows. So as you can see here, we have months mentioned: July, 1 batch; August, 1 batch; September, 2 batches; October, 4 batches; November, 5 batches. Now, the key thing here is these are batches each month. So the key thing is each month here. Okay. The first batch took 200 hours to make as anticipated, but during the first 4 months of production, a learning effect of 88% was observed, although this finished at the end of October. Now, let me just open a past paper question as well so that it becomes easy for you to see the question. Okay. Yeah. Just wait. Okay, leave it. Now, as you can see the question loud and clear here. So the first batch took 200 hours to make, but during the first 4 months of production, the learning effect of 88% was observed, although this finished at the end of October. The learning formula is shown on a formula sheet, and at 88% learning rate, the value of B is 0.18 negative. So what it says, we'll discuss the marking scheme as well here. Yes, you can use the testing portal. I'll give you the details later on. Calculate the actual total monthly labor cost for producing the microphones for each is the key thing, each of the 5 months from July to November. So each is the most important word here. Okay, for 9 marks. Now, if I go towards the portal and if I start the solution using the spreadsheet, so I am required to calculate the I'm required to calculate the monthly labor cost for each month. Now the months are part A, so months, see how quickly I can perform the calculations through spreadsheet. Okay, so these are the months here. Now hours, and then we have rate per hour, and then we have cost. See, it's a 9-mark question. 1.5 marks will be awarded for July. Sorry, you can see the rounded off answer here. And 1.5 marks will be awarded for August, 1.5 for September, 1.5 for October, and 3 marks for November. So 3 marks are one that you will be getting in November. And why is that? So we'll discuss. So this makes 9 marks altogether. So this is my working area. And if you need to learn the basics, I will share the link today. You can just go to that basic video of learning curve that I conducted in the previous webinar, and that will help you to understand the basics. Okay. Okay, is it now fine? I hope this is much better. The screen is much better now, right? Just wait, I need to fix this. Okay, is it better? Okay, can you people see the screen? Come on, quickly reply. Is the screen clear? Okay. Now, working area. How will I do the workings? That can save a lot of time. So let's see how will I perform the workings. This is cumulative units. This is cumulative average time. This is total time, and this is incremental time. Okay, just wait. Let me just use normal Excel. That can help more. In order to improve the visibility, because this is an important calculation and I don't want you people to miss this calculation. So I want you to show the entire big screen. Okay, so I think we are good to go now, and let's try to copy all this and let's go towards the Excel. So this is part A. Now see the magic that I am doing now. This is the working area. Cumulative units first, cumulative average time second, incremental time third, fourth, total time. Now let me open the cells. Okay, so you can see these 4 columns here, and this is my working area as well for the calculation. Now if I just move towards the question, so this is the question and this is the spreadsheet. So the question says that in the month of July, the company made 1 batch. Okay, so in month of July, company made just 1 batch, and the time to produce that 1 batch was 200 hours. So this is 200 hours. Okay, so the average will be how much? Yeah, average will be 200 as well. And this is of July. Okay, so how much is the incremental time? It's just the 1 batch. So it's just 1 batch means 200. So that's it, 200. And just giving the reference here, it's 200. So the rate per hour is 12. 12 is the rate per hour here. Okay. And the cost is, let's apply the formula. So the formula is 200 into 12. This is 2400. Okay, this is 2400. So as you all can see that the answer is 2400, and this will award you 1.5 marks. I hope this is clear. Okay. Now, second month, August. How many batches were produced in August? So it says 1 batch was produced in August. So if 1 batch was produced in August, so what will be the cumulative effect? So July plus August would have a cumulative effect of 2 batches. This 2 means 1 of July and 1 of August. 1.5 is the marks. Okay, 1.5 are the marks. Now, July and August means 2 batches. The cumulative units are 2 batches. Now see what I'm doing. Using the log formula above here, the log function, log 0.88, as I'm using the log formula here, divided by log 2. And you can see very clearly, this is the log formula I've used here. Can you see this? Okay. So I'm getting this negative answer, and this is the same answer as you just saw here. Because I'm using the log formula here. I'm using the log approach. So this is the log approach. Now, having done this, what I'm doing, see, I need cumulative average time through log approach. And is equals to, the formula is time to make first unit is 200 multiplied by cumulative number of units for which I need the average. So I need the average for 2 batches, one of July and one of August. So 200 is the time for first batch multiplied by 2 batches, power, bracket open, and I will give the reference of this figure, and I'll just close the bracket. See, so 200 is the time for the first batch multiplied by B14, which means I need the average for 2 batches, power the log value that was also given to you in the question paper. So you can use that as well. Now, what I'm doing here is I will lock this cell. C10 is what I need to lock. So I'm using shift button and a dollar value. Shift button and a dollar sign before C, and the same shift button and a dollar value before 10. So dollar value has been used before C and before 10, and this will lock this figure every time I copy that to other cell. So this is clear. How to give power? Okay, this is the sign of power. Shift button, and on your keyboard you can see 6 digit 6. So shift with digit 6 will give you the power sign. Okay, and I've locked the cell, and this is the average for 2 batches. Cumulative average time means the total time for 2 batches is 176. Okay, now how can I get the time for total time for 2 batches? This is the average. This is the average. Now I need the time for 2. So I will multiply this 176 with 2. So this will give me 352. So total time is 352 for the 2 batches. Okay, you can see the log value, how I worked out that. So it's very simple. Log function is available, is equals to log bracket open 0.88 divided by log 2. This is how I worked out. You can even watch the video later on to understand this, how I worked out. So this is the total time for 352 batches. Now I need to give answer for the month of August only, August. So what I need to do, this is the total time for 2 batches, which is one of July and one of August. So the total time is 352 batches. As I need time for the August batch only, so what I'll do, I will deduct the total time of July and August batch, and I will deduct from this total time the time of July only. So from the time of 2 batches, I'm deducting the time of the first batch. From 2 batches, I'm deducting time for the first batch, which means the total time July, August 352 minus the July time of 200, and this will give me the batch time for August 1 batch, incremental time. Okay, so let me quickly just go through this. This is the log formula that I've applied here. This is the answer that I did work out. I applied this formula. 200 is the time for first batch, multiplied by 2 batches, and the power value is a one that I referred here. C10, I used the dollar sign before C and before 10 to lock the cell. Now see the magic. What happens? Are you all ready? Come on, tell me. Are you ready? Come on, guys. Are you ready? Is this clear up till now? Tell me. Yes or no, quickly. Is this clear up till now? Come on, tell me yes or no. Okay, so the total time is simple. Total time is simple to work out. 2 into 176. Okay, why I locked cell, right? So I'm telling you why I locked cell. Now let's go back to the question. How many batches were produced in September? 2 batches. So I need 2 batches time of September. So now I need 2 batches time of what? September. So how to get 2 batches time of September now? So July 1, August 1, September 2, cumulative effect means 4. You cannot apply learning curve formula until and unless you take the cumulative impact. You have to show log working on spreadsheet, not on your calculator. So 4, July 1, August 1, and 2 September. See what will happen. I can get the answer of average time in a second. I'll just copy this and see the magic. Are you ready for the magic, guys? This is the answer for 4 batches, average. See the formula. See the magic. 4 batches, average time. So see, 200 is the time for first batch, multiplied by B15, this 4 power, and this is the cell that I have locked here. This value that has been locked. Can you see the magic? Come on, did you like it? What you say? It's simple. Yes, please. So this has been locked and you got the average. Now it's just copy paste thing. Copy paste thing. See, I'll just copy this. Copy, paste, Control C, Control V. Now I need the time for September 2 batches, right? Which means I need the time for third and fourth batch that will produce September. So again, I'll apply the same formula. Copy, paste, and see the impact. See the impact. From 2 batches time, from 4 batches time, I've deducted the first 2 batches. From the 4 batches time, I've deducted the time for first 2 batches. So once you deducted the first 2 batches time, so you will get the time for September 3rd and 4th batch. 3rd and 4th batch. Okay, 3rd and 4th batch. See, this is clear. Now let's go back. October, how many batches? Four batches. So altogether, if you just add all, this becomes how many? So it says 1 for July, 1 for August, 2 for September, and 4 for October. This makes total 8 batches. And just apply the same thing. Control C. I need the total time. Dear magician, I need the total time for 8 batches. Control C, Control V. Here you go. I need the total time. I need the average time for 8. This is 136. I need the total time. Control C, Control V. Here you go. I need the total time for 8 batches, it's 190. I need the average time for 8, it's 136. See, you can check the formula. 200 into B16 into that locked cell. You can check this formula. Now, here you go. So I'll get the answer of October 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th batch time. So July, what I've done, total time of 8 batches minus the total time for 4 batches. From this, I've deducted this, and I will get the answer for 8 batches. Sorry, the 4 batches, the last 4 batches. Is this clear? Yeah, I can just show you again. You see, 4 batches and 8 batches time I've worked out. So from the 8 batches time, I've deducted the first 4 batches time, and I'll get the time for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Understood? So this is the time for July batch 1. This is the time for August batch 1. This is the time for September 2 batches. This is the time for October 4 batches. This is all incremental time. Now, let's copy paste the things. Wow. We are getting all these figures again. Okay. The rate is 12. Just copy paste these. So you are getting the answers. 1.5 mark for August, 1.5 for October, 1.5 for September. 6 marks done. Just 3 to get, and you'll get 100% marks. And see, with minimum amount of calculation. Okay, let me show you the calculation again. See. So this is what spreadsheet is beneficial for. In this first today's session, I've tried to highlight the problems like spreadsheet, like theory drafting, and I hope I have successfully done that. What do you think? Was I successful in identifying the theoretical application issues? Thanks, Safir. Okay, so now very quickly, I'm just telling you what actually I have done here. So you can see 200 is the first batch time, and this is the formula I did apply by locking the cell. This is the log working that I did here. Again, this is having a problem, and you can see the workings that I've performed. So you can even watch the video again, and this will be very much beneficial for you. Now let's move towards the twist. It says that at the end of October the learning will stop, and now what we need to do, 8 batches will be produced in November. So what we are required to do, so it's very simple assumption that you have to take. Whenever the learning stops, the last unit that has been produced, the last unit where the learning has stopped, the last unit where learning has stopped, we will take the time of that unit and will apply to all other units. We'll take the time of that unit and apply to all the other units. Alina, it's very simple. If I would had would haven't locked this, so I cannot apply this formula again and again. You see, C10 is coming again and again. This is the purpose of locking the cell. Okay. Now, what I will do, as I need to work out for November. So, July 1 for cumulative approach, August 1, September 2, October 1, November 8. This makes 16. But I'm not working this way because the learning has stopped. So it's no use now. So I need to work out the time for the last batch of October, and which is that batch. So that batch is eighth batch. Eighth batch. So I need the time for eighth batch, the last batch where learning will stop. So what I'll do, I'll work out the time for 7 batches and apply the same thing. Control C, Control V. I'll get the average for 7 batches. I'll work out the total time for 7 batches. Control C, Control V. I'm getting the total time for 7 batches. Now I need the time for eighth batch, eighth batch. So what I'm doing, from 8 batches time, I'm deducting the time for 7 batches. From 8 batches time, I'm deducting the time for 7 batches. And this is this time. So I'll get the incremental time for eighth batch. This is the last batch where learning stopped. This is the last batch where the learning stopped. So from 8 batches time, I've deducted the 7 batches time, and I've got the eighth batch time. This is the eighth batch time. Are you getting my point? This is the use of a spreadsheet. This is the magician. This is the work that magician does. It's very simple. You just understand. I've just wrote the formula once, and it is just a copy paste exercise that I'm doing. So see, 7 batches average time, 7 batches total time, 7 batches average time, 7 batches total time. After that, from 8 batches time, I've deducted the 7 batches time, and I'll get the answer for eighth batch. Now this is the time that will remain constant for all the units produced after these. For all the units produced after these, the time will remain same. Okay, so here I'm doing the calculation. 8 batches were produced in November. Each batch time will be same as 112. Each batch time will be same as 112 multiplied by, sorry, these are the hours. So I can work out the hours for 8 batches as the time has become constant. The rate is 12 and the answer is 10,808, and you'll get 3 marks just because you had to do more calculation. You were required to work out the time for 7 batches. From this 7 batches, and from the 8 batches, you need to deduct the time for 8 batch, and this 8 batch time will remain constant. So remember, everyone, my friends, remember, when the learning stops, so the last unit where the learning stops, you have to take out the time for that last unit, that is the 8th batch. You have to work out the time for 8th batch, and that time will be applied for all the remaining number of units that will be produced later on. 8th batch time. So how to work out the time for 8th batch? So it's very simple. Calculate the total time for 8 batches minus the total time for 7 batches. From 8 batches time minus the 7 batches time, you will get the time for 8th batch. Okay, so as 8 batches were produced in November, so as 8 batches were produced in November, 8 batches were produced in November. So I've multiplied 8 with 112, and this is the answer. Shah Fahad, I think you are lacking basics here. That's why you cannot figure out. Just because we produce 8 batches in November, that's why multiplied with 8. I need time for 8 batches. Okay. So I hope the hours of November are clear, because learning has stopped at the end of October. So whatever units you will produce after October will have a time of 112 per batch. Okay. Is this clear, everyone? So this is the assumption we should know. When the learning stops, so the last batch time or the last unit time will be same for all the remaining ones. Come on, give me replies. Is this clear? Have you understood this magic? So I did perform just one calculation. One time I just applied the formula, and then rest it was all copy paste. Let me just show you the magic. See everyone. See what I'm doing. Be with me. See what I'm doing. I'm just removing the entire numbers. Okay. Just removing the entire numbers. I just want to show what magic will do. See, are you ready for the magic? Do like this and do let me know if you like this. If you like this, do let me know. Control C. See what I'm doing. Copy paste these 3 cells. See the magic. Getting the answers automatically. Okay. Control C. Getting the answers automatically. See, getting the answers. Here just I need to change the formula, just because from the lower figure I'm deducting the higher figure. So here I just need to change the formula so that I get the positive answer. So this is the benefit of a spreadsheet. This is what I want people to learn. Okay. So I hope this magic is clear to all of you. So my friends, I hope you understood. Yeah, I will share the WhatsApp. I will share. Even don't worry about the spreadsheet answers. I will provide you the video link. Don't issue. There's no issue. So I hope this magic is clear. And this is how we sorted out on a spreadsheet. And you can just watch this. I'll provide you details of this platform, the platform that you see here. I will provide details of this platform. This is available, and you can get the access to this for further practice. Now, we are done with this question. Let's go back to another question area. And I think now let's quickly just recap another thing, that is spreadsheet. So spreadsheets are very important for our examination theoretical areas. Spreadsheet is what I was using right now. Spreadsheet is basically something that we use for data manipulation, for analyzing. Spreadsheet is used by rows and columns. So what advantages spreadsheet provides? It simplifies and saves our time. Using spreadsheet we can prepare different budget options, which is very much true. Using spreadsheet we can definitely make use different budget options. We can perform sensitivity analysis as well. That is, sensitivity analysis is a technique through which we identify a most critical variable, and I will discussed this through one of the questions. Spreadsheet drawbacks: error can be done in the formula. Hopefully I didn't uh, hopefully I didn't did any wrong. Sorry, hopefully I did not made any mistake here in the previous solution. Yeah, we do depend a lot on spreadsheets. Yeah, there's definitely an over dependent risk. We rely too much on spreadsheets. Spreadsheet does not take account for qualitative factors. Spreadsheet does not know what qualitative factors are. Yes, security issues, data can be hacked or something using spreadsheet, and the model uh, in a spreadsheet can easily be corrupted, because if you just input one wrong digit, so the entire model goes wrong. Sensitivity analysis is a technique that is used to identify the most critical variable. Through one of the questions, I'll try to cover this as well. Okay, don't worry about beyond budgeting. I'll tell you the way out how to cover beyond budgeting. Don't worry. As I did mention that I will provide the entire support. So there are a lot of things that I will provide you later on other than this webinar that will help you a lot. So be with me through the WhatsApp group. You have to be in the WhatsApp group. The link will be given to you right now, and you can just message me on this WhatsApp number, also available in the footer, and plus we will also give you the WhatsApp link. Okay, now this is spreadsheet and we have just seen advantage and drawbacks. Now it's time for certain more practice questions. I will end the session 15 minutes late today, so make sure you are with me till the end. Don't leave. The session will end at 11:15. So I just want to solve further questions of section A and B now. So it's time for certain MTQs. Let's quickly move towards a question that relates to budgets again. Uh, Now, let's solve a quick MTQ question and then I'll move towards section A questions. So our focus is towards practice and I want you to solve maximum questions that relates to practice. Okay, let's start with this question. Just wait, please. Okay. Now, Corfi Company is a business which manufacture computer laptop batteries, and it has developed a new battery which has a longer usage time than batteries currently available in laptops. The selling price of the battery is forecast to be 45. The maximum production capacity of the company is 262,500. The company's management accountant is currently preparing an annual flexible budget and has collected the following information so far. In addition to the above cost, the management accountant estimates that for each increment of 50,000 units produced, one supervisor will be needed to be employed and a supervisor's salary is 35,000. The production manager does not understand why flexible budgets have been prepared as he always used a fixed budget previously. Now, So question 21 says, assuming the budgeted figures are correct, what would be the flexed total production cost be if production is 80% of the maximum capacity? Now, how are we required to solve this particular answer? So what we need to do for this answer? So let's try to solve. So it's getting difficult to solve this using, let me solve this spreadsheet. So let's use spreadsheet for this solution. Now, we are required to work out the cost for how many? 80%. Okay. So let's see. Total units are 262,500. And if I work out the 80%, so that makes 262 into zero point 0.8, that is 210,000. Okay. Now, material cost is given. Let's quickly check certain things. Material cost per unit is what I can work out. So per unit cost of material is 740,000. 740,000 divided by 185,000, and this is 4. Labor cost. Now I would recommend in labor, you need to check whether it's semi-variable or not. Do check semi-variable or not. So for what you are required to do, let me just quickly show how to check whether cost is semi-variable or not. So this is a technique. What you can do is at 2 activity levels, you just work out the cost per unit. So it's 1017,500 divided by 185,000. So this is 5.5. And just check this at another activity level. So if the answer of per unit remains same, if the per unit answer remains same, so this is a pure variable cost. See what I've done? Total cost divided by number of units at one activity level, total cost divided by number of units at another activity level. If the per unit answer remains same, then it is not a semi-variable cost. So this is how we check quickly. This divided by this divided by this. Okay, if per unit is same, it's not semi-variable. So it's 5.5. Now, what about fixed cost? Fixed cost will remain same at 750, but before that, let's add these two. So this would become 9.5. So variable cost is what I can work out. 9.5 multiplied by 210,000 units. See, 210,000. So this is variable. Then we have a fixed cost that remains at 750,000. And then we have one more cost of supervisor. So supervisor, what I need to do, it's simple. It says that for every 50,000 units, we need one supervisor and the salary is 35. So you tell me, if the units are 2,10,000, how many supervisors we need? Come on, tell me, how many supervisors do we need? Everyone, just reply. How many supervisors do we need? Four, five, four or five. Come on, tell me. Four or five. Everyone, be fast. Don't get lazy. Four or five. How many supervisors we need? Four or five. So the answer is, come on, what's the answer? Tell me. The answer is, it's simple. If 2,10,000 units are made and for every 50,000 you need one, so you need 4.2 supervisors, and obviously you cannot get 4.2 supervisors from anywhere. You can't get 4.2 supervisors for anywhere. This means you need five supervisors. Five. The answer is five, not four. Because if you go for 4, 10,000 units will not be inspected. So five supervisors is what you need. So this means 5 multiplied by 35,000 salary, 175. Okay, five supervisors we need, because for every 50,000 we need one. So for first 51, for second 52, for third 53, for fourth 54, and for the next 10,000 above we need one more. So the answer is 292,000. So do we have any options available here? Yeah, this is the option. Option D is the answer. Clear? Understood, everyone? So five supervisors will be needed here. Okay. And then what we have, the management accountant has issued said that a machine maintenance cost was not included in the flexible budget above, but needs to be taken into account. The new battery will be manufactured on a machine currently owned by company which was previously used for product which has now been discontinued. The management accountant estimates that every 1,000 units will take 14 hours to produce. So every 1,000 will take how many hours to produce? 14 hours to produce. Why five supervisors? Is because that the units are 2,10,000. 2,10,000. So that's why we need five supervisors, because for every 50 we need one. So above 2 lakh, we still need one supervisor for the remaining 10,000. Irfan, I hope this is clear. Okay. So it says that for every 1,000 units, it will take 14 hours to produce. The annual machine hours and maintenance cost for the machine for the last 4 years have been given below. So yeah, now this is what this is the maintenance cost, and this is a semi-variable cost. You can even check this. You divide 850 with 5,000. You divide 850 with 5,000. See how much per unit are you getting? How much per unit answer will we get? It's 170. And you can check at other level as well. Let's use 735 divided by 4,400. So the answer that you are getting here is 167. So the per unit is changing, right? And when the per unit changes, it's a semi-variable cost. So for this, what we need to do? We need to use high-low method. So let's use high-low method. Highest activity is 5,000. Lowest activity is 1800. So the cost of highest activity, let's open the bracket, 8,50,000 minus the cost of lowest activity is 4,50,000, bracket closed, divided by highest units or hours 5,000 minus lowest hours 1800. See, so the per hour answer will be, are you getting the point, is 125 per hour. So so variable per hour is 125. Okay, are you getting the point? Now, what is the estimated machine cost if production of the battery is 80% of the maximum capacity to the nearest thousands? How will we be able to work out this? Any quick suggestions? This is per unit. I was just checking whether a cost is semi-variable or not. Okay. So this was just per unit working that I performed just to see whether the cost is semi-variable or not. So per unit is changing. And when per unit changes, it's a semi-variable cost. As I did mention before that we first check whether a cost is semi-variable or not. Understood? Okay. So now this is a semi-variable cost and I'm required to use high-low method. So I have done the high-low method working. Now let's work out the cost. So it says that we have to work out the cost for 80% maximum capacity, which is how many units? 2,10,000 units, right? So let's work out the cost for 2,10,000 units. Now, how will I be able to work out the cost? This is the variable. So let's work out fixed first. So how to work out fixed cost? Come on, how to work out fixed cost? It's simple. Let's choose any activity. Let's take highest here. So the total cost at highest is how much? It's 850,000. Okay. From this, let's deduct the variable. How much is variable? The hours are 5,000 multiplied by 125 multiplied by 125. Okay. So the difference is what? Fixed cost. Okay. The difference is a fixed cost. Understood? Difference is a fixed cost. Now, units are 2,10,000. Okay. And it says that for every 1,000 units, 14 hours will be required. For every 1,000 units, 14 hours will be required, which means how many hours? For every 1,000 units, 14 hours will be required. So for example, if one batch is of 1,000 units, and you need to produce 2,10,000 units, so divide by 1,000 means 210 times, right? 210. So for every 1000 units, you need 14 hours, which means if you need to produce 210,000 units and one batch requires 1000, so divide this with 14, divide this with 1000 and multiply this with 14. So how many hours do we need here? 2940 hours. 2940 hours. 2940 hours. Is this clear? Okay. Now let's work out the cost. Variable 2940 hours multiplied by cost per hour is how much? 125. Fixed is 225,000. You plus these two, you get the total cost of 292,500. 292,500. Agreed? 292,500. So if nearest thousands, make sure nearest thousand is clear. So as the answer is 292,500, so the nearest answer is 593. 593 will be the answer. 593. Okay. So this is a question that you have to solve using high-low method. Was not difficult. 14 hours, it's simple. It says that for every 1000 units, 14 hours will be required. So as we are required to work out for 80%, which means the units have been worked out, 260 to 500, 80% is 210,000. So for every 1000 units, you need 14 hours, which means I did the working here. If I divide this with 1000, which means 210 is the figure, and I'll multiply this with 14. So for every 1000 units, we need 14. So this is 2940. Clear? Now, the next theoretical questions quickly. In the first month of production of the new battery, actual sales are 18,000 units and sales revenue achieved was 702. The budgeted sales units was 17,300. Based on this information, which of the following statement is true? Which of the following statement is true? So the options are: when the budget is flexed, the sales variance will include both sales volume and sales price. When the budget is flexed, the sales price will only include sales volume. When the budget is flexed, the sales price will only include the sales price variance. When the budget is flexed, the sales price will include sales mix and quantity. Now, what is the answer? So the answer is C. When the budget is flexed. Now, what flexed means? Flexed means the units are actual. Flexed means the units are actual. Come on, give me your answers. Flexed means the units are what, guys? The units are actual. And when units are actual, so you just need sales price variance to adjust, because there will be no need to adjust sales volume variance, because sales volume variance is a variance that is a difference between budgeted units and actual units. And when your units are already actual, because in a flex budget the units are already actual, so you just need sales price variance. Okay, so you just need sales price variance because flexed means units are actual. Got it, everyone? Which of the following statement relating to preparation of flexible budget for the new battery are true? For flexible budget, the budget could be time consuming to produce, as splitting out semi-variable costs may not be straightforward. This is a true statement. Yes, I did mention in the drawbacks as well. I did mention the drawbacks as well, that semi-variable might not be straightforward for flexible budget. Second, the range of output over which assumptions about how costs will behave could be difficult to determine. Now, this second statement is also correct because sometimes it gets difficult to figure out. Sometimes it gets difficult to figure out that how the cost will behave when the activity changes. As you can see in this question, there are 4 activities. So the cost will behave differently for these 4 activities, and it will be difficult to figure out how the cost will behave for different activities. So this is also correct for incremental budget. Third, the flexible budget will give managers more opportunity to include budgetary slack than a fixed budget. This is wrong. In flexible budget, there is less opportunity for slack, not more opportunity. Fixed budget is the one that is subject to more budgetary slack, as we saw in static company question. So this is wrong. Fourth, the budget will encourage all activities and their value to the organization to be reviewed and assessed. This statement relates to zero-based budget. So the correct option is A. Statement 1 and 2 are right. Okay. Okay. Question 23. Answer was C. Flexed means that units will be of actual. Flexed means units are actual. When units are actual, this means the only variance that is applicable is sales price variance, because volume variance has already been adjusted. The purpose of sales volume variance is what? To convert budget into actual. When the units already are actual in a flex budget, there is no need to use volume variance because units are already actual. Statement 24, margin relates to zero-based budget. This statement relates to zero-based budget. Nothing to do with flexible, okay? Okay. Question 25. Which of the following relating to spreadsheets are true? The user can change input variables and a new version of budget can quickly be produced. This is true for spreadsheet. Number 2, error in a formula can easily be traced and data can be difficult to corrupt in a spreadsheet. This is wrong. This is wrong because it's easy to corrupt a spreadsheet and there are many chances that error will not be figured out. This is wrong. A spreadsheet can take account of qualitative factors. This is wrong. Spreadsheet does not take qualitative factor, as I mentioned in the drawbacks. Manager can carry out sensitivity analysis more easily on a budget model which is held in a spreadsheet. It's true, as we have seen in our drawback sheet, that yes, you can perform sensitivity analysis using spreadsheet. So this is true for spreadsheet. Okay. So I hope this is clear to all of you. Yes, any questions, anyone? Any questions, anyone? Now, let's quickly. Any questions, anyone? Okay, so we are done with this area and I hope this is clear to all of you. Now you can just ask few questions quickly. I will answer you, and this is the WhatsApp group link. You can join the WhatsApp group right now. I will update you what you need to look from the previous webinars. I will give you the link of previous webinar videos for further practice of learning curves and budgets, especially the area of theory. So you just use this WhatsApp group. Make sure you are part of this. The link is available here, and you can use this link and you can further practice using this link. Uh, further further things definitely I will let you know. So you can just join this WhatsApp group ASAP. This is the link available here. If you can't join, so you can see my WhatsApp number below. You just WhatsApp me. I'll share you the link. So you can just send me a message on the WhatsApp group for further support. And yes, I will be giving you a very good plan, and I want you to follow my plan. That will definitely help you a lot. Okay, so guys, I did mention initially uh, what topics, so you just watch the video again. Yes, you can definitely score 70 plus. Just follow the plan that I'm giving you. You need to be active on the WhatsApp group. So how's your feedback? What's your feedback, guys? Come on, tell me. Did the today's session help you or not? Did the today's session help you or not? What's your feedback? How you rate the today's session when it comes to theory, it comes to techniques, it comes to spreadsheet? What's your feedback? Did it help you to understand the theoretical parts, the application part, the spreadsheet part, the formula building part, the theory part? Will this raise your confidence? Did you learn the techniques? Come on, everyone, please. I need your feedbacks. Please, need your feedbacks. Okay, so you want me to continue with the same practice approach, right? What you want? We should continue with the same practice approach in every class for every section, right? Okay, now after the session ends, you will be provided with a feedback area. You will be provided with a feedback area. Please do fill that feedback area. That is extremely important. That is extremely important. Fill that feedback area. Just because that we need your feedbacks. I need your feedback. Be part of this WhatsApp group. Give your feedback. I'll share important things tonight after the session so that you people can refer to previous videos, and your assignment is just to refer to the previous videos. Plus I will be focusing on section A questions tomorrow. Tomorrow at the start of the session, I will start with section A questions and will move on to variances. Then we will move on to decision making, and like this we'll move on to the other areas. So please do give me your feedbacks. I hope you understood the today's session. My today's session focused on application based theory. My session focused on spreadsheets, and these are the common problems that students are facing these days. So my plan is to focus more towards practice and less towards the content, basic content. And yes, I will be focusing the same thing in the tomorrow's class. So I hope that session went well. Do give your feedback after the session ends. Make sure you give the feedback after the session ends. You will be provided within feedback form. Do give the feedback so that we get to know what things you think about the today's session. I hope this is clear. You can email me as well. You can join the WhatsApp group through the link. You can see the number below. If you can't join yourself, just send me the message. I'll help you out. Thank you very much for the today's session. I hope you understood the session, and see you tomorrow. Don't miss the sessions, because these 5 days will ensure you a pass. In these 5 days, we'll just revise everything. You follow my entire plan, you follow my guidance, and you will be really much uh, You will really find things easy for the examination. I hope you like the session. Please, admin, share the WhatsApp group link as well. You can see in front of the slide. See you soon. Take care. Bye.